Well, at least she ended talking about something she was working on that was bipartisan, because boy howdy, when she blew in and just lit up this room with very, very pointed remarks about the fact that somehow Republicans are responsible for President Biden being
Would the gentleman
1 month
Would the
late.
gentleman yield 30 seconds to me?
Just a second. Yes, sir.
Just as
Mr.
a
Chairman, I
reminder,
will always
thank you
yield.
very much. Just as a reminder, it was the Democrat controlled Senate, Democrat controlled House, and Democrat president who signed in slashing the food stamp program last year because they are the ones who cut the COVID extensions. I yield back to the gentleman from.
And I would say that now, as a member of the Budget Committee, in addition to the Appropriations Committee, we have been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for the president's budget. And finally, we see it today. And what do we see? We see deficit spending into perpetuity, and we see tax hikes to pay for that deficit spending. So forgive me for being a little bit just not very anxious to hear the kinds of comments coming from the gentlelady from Florida about past Republican acts when Democrats have been in control of Congress for so many years. I am pleased to hear her support for block grants, because those can serve as an effective way to deliver funds more specifically to localities where it's needed, but not encumber these end users, whether they be farmers or whether they be recipients of broadband or you name it, with the regulations that find their way down from Washington. In fact, I think as a longtime proponent of block grants, you're going to see the increased use of block grants at the federal level. I think in particular at the Budget Committee, as we seek to actually be proper stewards of taxpayer funds here in appropriations, the Budget Committee is going to look to put forward a budget that achieves balance, that doesn't waste taxpayer funds, that actually prioritizes taxpayer funds to the areas where it's needed the most, and make sure that we don't have the waste that is all too commonly found in many federal programs. The USDA has come today with a reputation for finding that waste and for making corrections. And I want to commend you for targeting in many different areas the waste that has been seen in some programs. But we would like to work with our colleagues on both sides to make these necessary changes so that taxpayer funds are used effectively. But if all we're going to get is just a bunch of political diatribes, then it makes me much less interested. But let me just go ahead and get back to the conversation we were having. The Agricultural Trade Promotion Program was a temporary competitive grant program administered by Foreign Ag Service and designed to aid in the development of agricultural commodities in foreign markets by providing financial assistance to organizations for those activities. You found a great deal of issues with that. You were unable to attest to the merits of the 59 ATP grants that were awarded in 19, totaling $300 million. You're talking about corrections. Is this program still in existence, because it was designed to be a temporary program? And post-COVID, what is the current status?
and I'll just offer some comments. Steve, you might have more detail. This program was set up to deal with the consequences of the tariffs situation a number of years ago. So I think that they have distributed all the funding that they were given at this point, because that was the purpose of it, was that specific situation. In terms of the recommendations, they go both to that program and overall to the controls that FAS, the Foreign Agricultural Service, would have in delivering its programs. We are looking at a number of FAS programs, and I think this is, maybe the first one out of the box.
Thank you.